Well, talking about another hot investment, Netflix, one of the best performing stocks this year,
For
Mm-hmm.
sure.
Mm-hmm.
said that in 2025, well, it said that their ad supported tier
Hmm.
will double revenue this year. So is that a signal that the stock will have a continuous run, or will we see some pullback because it's already gone up almost 300% in the last couple of
I
years?
think, I mean, they are the preeminent platform to have content on. They are the HBO of our era.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think they get enough credit for how well they have run that business. The fight was pretty good that was on last weekend. The WWE edition, possibly the UFC edition, has helped a lot. I just think they've run this business incredibly well. And then if they can find a way to double and then maybe even triple in 3 or 4 years that ad supported tier while having premium content and a premium price, I don't see, even I have all the other subscriptions to have Prime and Max or HBO Max, whatever it's called now. No one's better. The only competition probably is Google/YouTube. And I think there are leaps and bounds in terms of quality of content. So will they have a pullback? For sure, but I don't think it's a pullback that will go into correction territory. If I can get them at, I don't know, probably a 10% drop from here, I'll be happy. But this stock has done incredibly well, and that management has to get a lot of credit for doing well and just kicking Apple's back in on that side of the business as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I know people were a little confused, and we've gone over this a few times. A company reports its earnings, it beats on every line: revenue, earnings per share, free cash flow, operating income,
That's insane.
and the full year beat on all those lines, and the company still sees the stock pullback of like 5%. What you have to take into account is where it came from. And so if you look at December when it was sitting around 840, currently trading over $1,200, it's had a nice run up here. The problem is it might have run up too high.
Too fast. Yeah.
Too fast. And so what you'll see is people take profit, and that's fine. That's part of the game. I don't see a correction happening for it. Like you said, it's the leader in the space. It's going to continue to be the leader in the space. And I still think it has room for expansion in terms of, yes, America is a dominant market, but there's still countries, there's still areas and regions that do not have this service. And you could try to replicate it, but nobody's done it successfully. In terms of competitors, yes, Disney has been there in terms of the amount of subscribers. I know Netflix is no longer sharing their subscriber count. But Disney has a problem, and we talked about it, and hopefully they'll solve it in terms of live sports and ESPN and how that was a debt trap for them. And Netflix has solved it. And in fact, they've actually added sports. Like I said, that
Absolutely.
And you know who they just signed? They just signed Max Kellerman.
No way. What?
Yeah. So Max Kellerman is now on Netflix for boxing, and they're gonna have the number one
Smart.
fighter. Yeah, we're just months away from it. It's going to be by far the most watched fight of all time. They have that under their belt. Obviously, they're doing football. We'll see what they can do in terms of college sports. I know TNT signed a college football, but who knows what happens with college basketball, the way things are looking. So, yeah, Netflix is here to stay. I'd be surprised if over the next year they don't split.
I was just going to ask, is it time for a split? I mean, because their 52-week low was what, 588, 587? High as 1340.
Yep.
Yeah, high as 1341. I think it may be time for a split. I'm sure the shareholders who have been there for 10 to 15 years may not want it, but it may be time. It may be time.
Yeah, it's run that hot. And so now the valuation for the company has risen to a point where who else in the space has that type of valuation? Nobody's near them. Yeah, it might be a time. It might be time.
Rashad, do you think they should split, or they should keep the price where it is currently?
Yeah, I think a split would be helpful, especially if it gets close to that $2,000 range, 1,500.
Yeah,
gotta look at that for sure. Yeah.
Just a couple of stats on Netflix. Free cash flow 8.5 billion. Let's see. Altman Z score, which I've talked about at InvestFest last year, but it's the probability of them going out of business or bankrupt, is 13 out of 100. Almost impossible. Beta is 1.62, 52-week high. Like I said, it's 1341. The stock has just been on a absolute tear. What would, especially in that industry, gross margin is 48%. Their operating margin is 29%. They're netting 24 for a cost heavy. And I remember when the conversation was, is investing in premium evergreen content going to collapse them? And they just found a way
They figured it out
to be better.
Yeah, they figured out how to get content at a lower price. There, you know what it reminds me of, and it's starting to feel like when we were watching Video Report, and is good is not good enough anymore. Like great is not good enough
They're
anymore.
so great. Yep.
Yeah, to see it pull back after it beat on everything is one of those times where it's like, hey, yeah, they beat. I know operating cash flow is something that they were big on, and it still beat it. Yeah, it only beat it by 300 million, 400 million, but it's still a beat, right? If you're not growing, then you're declining, and they've grown, and so it's just one of those cases. Is good enough? Is great good enough? I'm with them long term.
Good sign. Fidelity added 1.3 million shares in March as well too. So if you want to see what the whales are doing, them and State Street have added shares. So maybe a pullback if it ever gets back to definitely 900 range. But if we get to, I don't know, 1188, which sounds crazy, it should be a good entry point into the stock.
Yeah,
if you have not been investing into it.
And I gave a great ETF, and everybody, shout out to everybody in EYLU, shout out to everybody that was with us in the class on Thursday. If you look up which ETF has the largest allocation to Netflix, you will find that FDN. It's a good ETF. It's performed well for us this year. If you can't get a share of Netflix at 1,200, that would be a nice alternative.
Look at you giving back to the people after.
You see what I'm saying, man?
Keep going.
I'm just trying to get nominated for Stock Trade of the Year, man.
Be funny. Shadi, what's the Chinese ETF?
TBD. That's the ticker.
Invest with Invesco.
Yes, you should.
Royalty Online. I saw that bill. I said, "Ooh."
Invest with Invesco.
Do you still think that we will see a pullback in the summer, or no?
Yes, it may not be as dramatic as last year, but this is the thing. Even with pullback, so like when a pullback happened in April, I called the time in which we recover. It recovered quicker than that. My advice is when we get the pullbacks, I think we have a preponderance of evidence to show the returns are going to be there. Invest in a pullback, though. A lot of times, how many people do you know who watch the show and be like, well, I saw the move in April, but then I missed out. So I don't think that the move would be as dramatic as it was last year, but do I think we would get a pullback as a result? And what's not being talked about in some of the mismanagement of things that he may do in office? The bright side to Trump being in office is the volatility that he will give to the markets. I've seen him in office twice. Trading is dramatically different and more volatile with him in office, but man, the returns are way higher. You can say it's nefarious, or even the push in crypto. I don't know if under another administration we would have gotten this. And even the idea to have kids automatically invested into the stock market is a brilliant idea. I don't know if another administration would have done that. So will it be as steep? I don't think so, but we definitely will have a pullback in August.
Yeah, he's putting his name on that $1,000 too. Did you see it?
Rashad talked about this before. Like Trump ran everything money wise.
Yeah, from a historical standpoint, since 1980, August ranks as the weakest month for the S&P with a flat to negative average return. August 1st is the deadline for tariffs for the EU and I think a few other regions of the world. And so depending on how that goes, they said they're not going to push the goal line any further. August is going to be the hard deadline. And so we will see if that is true, then this will hold true as well. We saw pullbacks in April. Like you said, I don't think it'll be as drastic.
Yeah.
And then from another historical standpoint, post-July strength. So we've had a positive July this year thus far. That often leads to mid and mild August mean reversion pullback of 3 to 5%, especially when the sentiment and valuations are strengthened. And so we keep talking about, hey, valuations are running high. We're going to see what happens because of the tariffs that were enacted in second quarter. We're not seeing it. We're starting it. This is a big week. Obviously, tech
For sure.
companies are going to be reporting their second quarter earnings reports. So we'll see. But historically, August has been that month. And over the past 5 years, we've seen it happen in late August, mid to late August, and then it runs into September as well.
Yeah.
A few times it's gone into October, but by the end of the year, we have seen a great appreciation at the end. So yeah, man, when we say the time is amongst us, in the next few weeks, we should see some volatility historically.
Once again, one of the main talking points at InvestFest, hold it for 10 years. Go look at the return of Broadcom, QQQ, Bitcoin, AMD, NVIDIA, Microsoft, Apple, Netflix. All of these issues go away if you hold for a 10-year period. It's not the sexy advice that you want to hear, but if you want to get rich, that is definitely the advice that I'm going to give to you. Even if you think you don't have 10 years left, make sure that you have your trust set up so it rolls over to your family. But all the short-term concern, that goes away with holding a quality asset for a long period of time.
Yeah. No.
Yep.